videoed beheadings, drug smuggling, a firefight with the army, and a man who was the godfather of the drug world, as well as public enemy number one. Just a small part of the incredible story of the Sinaloa Cartel, described as one of the largest, most powerful drug trafficking gangs in the world. Said to be operating across 22 Mexican states and in as many as 50 different countries, the man who helped the cartel become so powerful is the infamous leader, El Chapo. Named by the DEA as the godfather of the drug world, Joaquin Guzman, aka El Chapo, became one of the world's richest men due to his running of the cartel. His life and vast drug trafficking empire has been the subject of numerous books and TV series, with Forbes even including him on its list of most powerful people in the world. And his notoriety doesn't stop there. Whilst on the run in 2013, the Chicago Crime Commission made El Chapo public enemy number one, a title that had only previously been given to the legendary gangster Al Capone. In the early 1980s, one of Mexico's largest crime organizations, the Guadalajara Cartel, tortured a U.S. drug enforcement agent for 30 hours before murdering him. The agent's body was later found wrapped in plastic, dumped on the outskirts of a nearby town. During the torture, a physician was allegedly on standby to prolong Camarina's life, so the torture could continue for longer than it might have. This event led to U.S. and Mexican forces cracking down on the syndicate. The syndicate broke into various groups, one of which was based in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, which already had marijuana and poppy crops. It was also the birthplace of El Chapo, the man who was to become leader of the Sinaloa Cartel. With the power of the Colombian cartels declining after the death of Pablo Escobar in 1993, Mexico gained popularity as a new drug route, and with El Chapo's extensive use of bribes to authorities, the Sinaloa Cartel soon became the biggest supplier of illegal drugs to the U.S. Another factor in the cartel's rise to power was El Chapo's innovative use of smuggling drugs through cross-border tunnels. Some of these super tunnels measured as long as 6 football fields, with electrical lighting and ventilation, helping the Sinaloa Cartel gain an edge on their competitors.
Tunnels. Through a tunnel.
Used by El Chapo.
Tunnel King.
The master of tunnels.
With many of its members related by birth or marriage, the Sinaloa Cartel quickly gained a fierce reputation for violence and brutality. Their methods included filming homicides and beheadings, and posting them online as a warning to rivals who might want to make a move on their territory. Battles between rival cartels caused death and chaos across the streets of Mexico. In November 1992, one infamous incident began when El Chapo sent 40 gunmen to raid a rival Tijuana cartel party, slaughtering 9 people. This event resulted in the Tijuana Cartel trying to assassinate El Chapo at Guadalajara Airport in 1993. However, the gang had been given the wrong target, and instead of hitting El Chapo's car, they opened fire on the limousine of Cardinal Posadas Ocampo, the Archbishop of Guadalajara. The Cardinal was killed, while El Chapo managed to flee the scene unharmed. With $5 million bounties being raised for news on any gang member involved in the attack, pictures of El Chapo's face appeared for the first time in newspapers and on television across Mexico. He was tracked down and arrested in Guatemala 2 weeks later. At the time of his arrest, El Chapo was the wealthiest and most powerful of Mexico's drug cartels. And even though he was sentenced to more than 20 years behind bars, he continued to be the key figure in the organization. It's said that associates would bring him suitcases of cash to bribe prison workers and allow him to maintain his opulent lifestyle, with guards even acting like his servants. But in 2001, fearing extradition to the United States, El Chapo bribed a guard to open his prison door, where he climbed into a laundry cart and was wheeled through the prison and out of the front door by a maintenance worker. Once he was free, El Chapo fled. Incredibly, this wasn't the only time he managed to break out of prison. In 2014, El Chapo was caught in Sinaloa, Mexico.
It was a stunning sight. The most powerful drug lord in the world in handcuffs, after more than a decade as a wanted man.
But the following year he escaped, this time through one of his own super tunnels that had been dug by cartel members. The daring escape was a blow to authorities and proved how powerful and confident the Sinaloa Cartel was. Bizarrely, during his time on the run, a controversial secret meeting was organized between El Chapo and Hollywood superstar Sean Penn for Rolling Stone magazine. In January 2016, El Chapo had been captured again and was extradited to the United States, where the drug lord was sentenced to life in prison.
Convicted Mexican drug lord El Chapo, a federal judge right here in New York City today, sentencing Joaquin Guzman to life in prison plus 30 years.
In one of the most high-profile trials in recent U.S. history, prosecutors said El Chapo had trafficked cocaine, heroin, and marijuana, and kept a network of dealers, kidnappers, and assassins on his payroll. But even without El Chapo controlling things, business is still said to be booming under the partial leadership of El Chapo's son, Ovidio Guzmán Lopez, known as El Ratón, meaning the mouse. After Lopez's arrest in 2019, the cartel's gunmen engaged in a gun battle with the Mexican army in broad daylight.
Violence paralyzed the streets of a Mexican city yesterday as security forces traded gunfire with heavily armed members of a drug cartel.
After setting fire to cars, storming the prison, and threatening to attack relatives of the local military personnel, Lopez was freed, with the Mexican president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, saying he supported the decision in order to prevent more bloodshed.
The son of the notorious drug kingpin El Chapo was taken into custody, then let go.
As of 2021, it's said that the Sinaloa Cartel still remains Mexico's most dominant drug cartel, and the revenue of up to $39 billion. There's little reason to think the cartel business will stop selling drugs or raging wars with law enforcement and rival cartels anytime soon.